right. I think Houston, it's a go. Yeah.
Going on all cylinders.
All right, everybody. Hey, what's up? My name's Corey Capella. For those of you on Steve's Insta, I run a podcast called The War Within. This is episode 4 for all my viewers. Hey, how's it going? This is Steve Kozola.
What's going on, guys?
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend?
All right. Well, let's make it short and quick. My name's Steve Kozola. Born in Naperville, Illinois, and moved out to Southern California going on 5 years ago now. And within about 2 years of this journey, I had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman right here. And man, it's been great times for us, man. And thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. And
it's been wild.
So we kind of connected. Like our first initial connection was a mutual friend, Mike Wargen. That was Thanksgiving, I believe.
Yeah, we did our first thing, Friendsgiving. We did a Friendsgiving, and that was when I was in like complete and utter like still completely within myself of just not with it.
Point?
Yeah, I was at a low point. Well, I was just starting to emerge out of that low point.
Okay. It's not the lowest, but you're on the
not the lowest. But yeah, absolutely. Well, I didn't know there was even closer enough. So when I met you, I was just like, man, who the fuck are these people? I wasn't used to even being around anybody.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I think a bunch of us just walked in too. Like you were there with, I think, Kush.
Kush had walked in.
Kush was in there. There was Mike and then also you got like 3 people walking who you've never met.
Yeah, for sure.
And probably have like just no idea how I think. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, just how cool they would be. But anywho,
we know each other, everybody. We're friends. So give me a little bit of what Steve Kozola is all about, though. Why would I have you on this podcast?
Man, when you talk about the war within, I think it's just a battle that everyone lives. I think it's I think it's a daily struggle of life, daily struggle of going through your goals, daily struggles of just being the best you can possibly be. So I mean, as you know, I fight professionally for Belator, and as a fighter, you go through these challenges a lot. It's you're training a lot, and you're trying to do as many things right as possible to put yourself in the best position to stay healthy, to be best prepared you can for your fights, whenever they come.
I think what we're looking for mainly is like optimization.
Absolutely.
And then the other big thing too is the fact that I think you always talk about this. You always wish that you had joined the military, but I think in a way you yourself are a warrior. You know what I'm saying? And I think well, it's that ethos, it's that mindset, it's that spirit, it's that draw to also want to become the best version of yourself and become the most optimal and see how far you can push yourself. Dude, you go in a damn cage for a living and either try to rip the head off another human being or get and trying not to get your head ripped off, right? So there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, dude, like, I mean, how long have you been fighting for, first off?
I'll be 28 in December, and I started right before my 20th birthday. I think I had my first amateur fight November of 2009. So I think I was 19 years old. I was a sophomore at Northern Illinois University, and I just stopped playing football and wanted to do something different. Because I tried to do like that normal like frat boy life, I guess.
Right, for sure.
Like normal college life. I was
go be a normal job.
Yeah, just be like a normal just college student. But it was really weird to me because once I transferred, I was used to being a student athlete my whole life, and I think you always get a little bit more like notice and attention, and all of a sudden you're just another student, and not to anything special about you when you're a normal student or anything like that. And so I tried doing the frat boy life to like make friends and stuff like that, but dude, I could not hang with the party. I couldn't hang with the drinking, and it's like I didn't feel like I had a goal. Like I was like, man, I'm still in shape. I still definitely want to pursue something on an athletic standpoint. I really want to challenge myself, and then the UFC was up and coming at the time, so I'm like, okay, I'll try MMA, because I did like Taekwondo when I was younger. I mean, I got my black belt, which is cool, but I mean, if anybody knows anything about Taekwondo, it doesn't translate. Like
For sure.
It doesn't. I mean, you get comfortable kicking, you get comfortable, I guess, doing drills, and if you compete, the one-on-one sparring, I guess, those would help you in a little bit. But as far as like the actual like skills of combat being taken over, it wasn't that big of a transition. But man, I was looking to do something different, and started cage fighting. 19 years old. It was fun. Just did my amateur career throughout college, and I only did like 4 amateur fights, and I actually lost my last one.
No way.
Yeah, so like I went 3-0. I choked. I actually won by submission all of them like in the first round.
Yeah.
Just choked, and then I just thought with my 4th fight, I started getting lazy. Not training as much as I should. I was teaching too much too, because I was also teaching at the gym I was working out at, just to kind of not have to pay tuition. I was a broke college student at the time, and I remember I was just doing too much teaching the lower levels as opposed to training and trying to really push and do your 100% best and trying to evolve. And I remember that was my last fight as an amateur, and I got beat. It was cool. It was fighting night and everything like that, but I remember losing that fight and just being just super bummed out, because I knew I'm like, oh man, I didn't work as hard as I could. I could have done better. I could have been more disciplined. I could have put my foot down, so I need to teach less so I can train more for this fight. But those are just mistakes, and when you make those mistakes, you gotta learn from it 100%.
So I hate to go out there and bring this up right away, but
no, do it, dude.
Your last fight you lost.
My last fight I lost.
And obviously I know you really well as a friend, and I've seen some things change in your lifestyle over the last probably 8 months that seem kind of similar to the story that you just told me about.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like those same kind of patterns just came up to assist you with this loss?
I'm not sure, man. I mean, the loss was hard, man, because the loss was something where I felt like I was training as hard as I could,
mm-hmm.
and I was even making changes in my life, and then making changes in my training camps. I went from Team Quest to Huntington Beach and everything like that, and and I know that was a good change, and it helped me out a lot. It really did change my life, and it really enhanced my life, and I got to get some good technical training. I know I improved from the time I fought Jake Roberts. From the time I fought Carrington Banks. That was about 6 months. I know I got better.
Okay.
But the one thing I realized is, I got technically better, but there's still another level to push. Maybe it's not a level. Maybe it's not even a level you haven't reached yet. It was a lot of things. Like a lot of things just started screaming at me in terms of, hey, you need to really your weaknesses scream out at you.
Okay. Like what, for instance?
So for me, it was my wrestling. I thought my wrestling was good enough. My own ego told me it was good enough because, I had some good takedown defenses. And even when I was taken down a couple times, if I was able to get up, I've always felt strong in a fight, like better condition, very explosive. I felt, pretty good against my opponents. And I think I just carried that in a wrong way with me into this one where, in practice, I wasn't executing as well as I should have been. I was getting held down by very good training partners. This guy Danny's just a beast wrestler, and he was trained at went to Iowa State and wrestled, and was on the Olympic training team. And then Jesse Doyle, same thing, Iowa State wrestler, and they were doing a great job. But when they got me down, I was not able to get up. So it was my execution. My execution was off. The preparation, of course. I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, and now having the fight, I see where I could have done better for myself, done better in some preparation aspects. I would have, instead of having decent conditioning, I should have amazing, unstoppable conditioning. I think that would have been another huge aspect. But I was in those situations in practice. I was in the fight, and I didn't execute. The one thing that I didn't execute was mainly listening to my corners. That was a big one.
You think so?
Absolutely. I mean, I know I did. Like when that was one of the biggest differences, and this is from our buddy Alex, who was in the crowd that night. He was like, Carrington was listening to his corner like this, reacting every second. Grab the hand. Boom. Grab the.
So here's one thing that I'd say about that, and then I'll kind of give you my aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I think Carrington came in with a far simpler strategy though, and it was easier for him to listen to his corner. He relied on his only strength, which was wrestling, and the duration of the fight, all he was really doing was he was looking for that leg when he had you on the cage and stuffing your leg.
Yeah.
And then taking you down and just holding you there. So it's easy for him to listen to his corner when, he's one, fighting with his one strength, and then two, not really having to commit to anything tricky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, he had a good position.
So Steve, here's my thing. Like, I know you, and I don't think that's the right diagnosis, to be honest with you. No, because I think you're really quick to be able to respond to that stuff. I think you're beating yourself up for that you had done something. Man, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I don't think you were like a bad boy not listening to your corner. I think something fundamental changed with your fight. Because I'll be honest with you, I have to be.
Yeah.
When I saw you step in that ring, I saw a different Steve Kozola. Normally, dude, like, you're the Thunder Beast when you walk in that motherfucker. Like, you like, it's almost like looking at Connor. This is why I think you are fucking champion bred, is because you just have this, like, enigmatic type of personality and persona. Like, you're just vibing with energy, right? This time you walked in the cage, you looked dull. You looked lackluster, and you could, like, it didn't feel like this ferocity of the Thunder Beast was coming out. You know what I'm saying? So I've had to sit here over time and try to figure out, you know, like, how can I tell, like, my really good friend these kinds of things, and, like, what can we do to, like, figure this stuff out, honestly. And one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you on here too is because I think it's something internal. I think, and that's why I asked you the question as to, like, why do you think? Because you laid out the thing that happened before. I had 3 wins as an amateur fight, and then this happened, and I threw extra stuff on top of myself, and I did XYZ, and I walked into my 4th fight probably thinking that I was going to walk in doing the same thing and win, and I didn't. And then it shifted something in Steve to go back, become a professional fighter and do XYZ. And then now you kind of had the same exact pattern with the same exact result, right? You started to commute further and further up to work, right?
Yeah.
You're working probably longer hours. You're doing different stuff. You probably have more responsibility in the household now. You have a 2-year-old son that's taking a lot more responsibility and a lot more of your time and energy. So I think I honestly think those are the ingredients right there. And I think that there might be something internal going on where there's this internal struggle. So this is what I call, like, the war within, where you might not even be aware of these things that are going on inside Steve, right? Because you're kind of, like, you're reacting to all the external things. And, you know, I think for a lot of people like you and I who have kind of a different, we have some trauma in our background. I don't know if you consider yours trauma, but I don't think that you were raised with very good understanding of, like, emotion and emotional response, probably from your parental figures. Mainly because obviously I know some of the stuff. I don't know if you want to get into it on there.
Okay, absolutely.
But, like, you know, you didn't have a strong male leader in your life to show you how to go through these types of environments and deal with stuff. Instead, it was like, you know what men do? Men just fucking drive hard and they work hard and they provide for their family. And at the end of the day, you know, when they're 65 and they're retired and they're run down, they're like, fuck, man. Like, that was a hard-ass life kind of deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now it's time for me to, like, figure out what's going on inside me. And by then, it's, like, too fucking late, man. You know what I'm saying?
They go internal too late.
Yeah, dude, well, think about it. That's 65. That's 2/3 of your life that you've just now spent internalizing.
If you're lucky. If you even make it
No
to that.
shit. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's if it's, like, on a 99-year lifespan, that's 2 fucking thirds of your life right there, where you have just internalized every bit of your emotion and never once made your own emotional state a priority or learned who you were really operating in there. So it's a fucking very scary thing going on. So I think for me, like, I guess what I wanted to talk about with that is, like, what are you feeling now that could have led to the, because like I said, man, normally Steve walks in there and it's Thunder Beast, dude. It's fucking, I know I got the hands, I know I got the takedown defense. If you fucking take me down, I'm getting back up within 30 seconds, I'm gonna fucking hurt you. I'm gonna hurt you for doing that. You know what I'm saying? And then this time, it was way different. It was way different. It was a way different Steve Kozola. I don't know if that was maybe the plan going in, or
no, man. You know what?
But me personally, I think it had something to do with outside of the fighting camp and outside of fighting alone. I think it's something going on inside Steve that we're not dealing with or we're not looking at. To be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and that's why I always appreciate, you know, your insight as someone who's, you know, again, but you know how to, like, look deep into someone. And
right.
Yeah, I know, and it is, you know, you mentioned all those things. Oh, that's me hitting it.
Hey, we're good.
We're good.
Hey, sorry about that, folks. I'm gonna try to figure out how to.
Damn both. All right. But anywho, good balance.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Nice. All right, we're
I'm gonna
back.
get you more in the camera more. Hey, everybody, keep going.
But you know, those are all things that it's you know, you develop a routine almost. You develop your own little formula, if you will. You know, training schedule, daily life. I mean, goals, whatever you want to call it. And you know,
just take me out of the picture. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. You're trying to develop those every single day into what you think is best. And I think in that training camp, I had a lot of changes, right? Like you mentioned, switched my job.
Right.
And my schedule became different and everything like that. And, I think I didn't spend enough time going internal in terms of what bothers me about this fight, like, or what's, what scares me.
Well, doesn't necessarily have to be the fight, though. Because I think the war within is a daily fight of our daily life. I think that the fight, just like with me, so I don't believe that I got PTSD necessarily from combat. I think combat was a culmination of all the stuff that was inside me from how I handled my day-to-day, and then combat was the peak of the iceberg that showed it to me. Doesn't make any sense?
Yeah.
So the fight and the training every single day, it's a fight to get out of bed at fucking 4:45 in the morning and to make your bed, and then to go and get your fucking food ready and to pack your fucking gym bag, and then to drive an hour and a half north and fucking possibly hit traffic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And then have to fucking run. So I'm just trying to show you all this stuff that's kind of going on.
Yeah.
And then, come home to a wife, and then come home to a kid, and then come home to a house that has to be fucking cleaned and maintained.
It's a lot.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, in there needs to be something. So instead of just getting kind of ground down the entire time, like there's points during those days where we have these emotional responses to our environment, to what's going on, and it's internalized, and it's like, fuck, man, you know what I can do? I can either not address it now and just kind of let it go and just keep grinding, or I can try to address it now and then figure out ways to like tailor my life to fight this war within, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see where I'm going with this? Does that need, like, I know it sounds very abstract, but I think that's where, I think that everyday stuff is where the grind is. I think that's the fight.
Yeah.
I think your fight in the cage is just the pinnacle of all the work that went in before that, all the patterns. So, like,
absolutely.
I study philosophy. I love philosophy. I love Aristotle. And what he talks about is virtue being a habituation, right?
Yeah.
Living virtuously every single day, and that's what allows your soul to flourish. Now, in this case, what I'm talking about too is like there's stuff. There's stuff going on with Steve. There's things that you may not like. There's things that may make your soul or make your emotional state be like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not being tended to. This isn't reciprocating joy or love or happiness or the direction I want to go. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm asking you, like, do you see any of that stuff in your life, and where can we make changes in that? Because I think ultimately that might make your training that much better. That might make your cognition that much better. That might make your love life and relationship better with your kid and your wife and your friends.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I know for one thing, before your last fight, you and I would make every Tuesday we would shoot bows.
Yeah.
We would get our bro time in. We'd get our little venting time in.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what I'm not doing? I'm not getting my ass beat right now, but I'm focusing and I'm doing something else that's honing me in for my fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was obviously a change this last go around. So there's something not feeding your soul that caused you to be. This is my belief. You see what I'm saying?
So,
and this is where I'm wanting you to maybe like dive in there and be like, man, maybe. Because I think you might be a little too obsessed with the exterior. Like, I wasn't listening to my coaches enough, or I wasn't training hard enough. Steve, like, dude, if there's, I know Steve. There's no shortage of fucking discipline. You know what I'm saying? There's no shortage of work ethic. There's no shortage of fucking putting your nose to the grindstone. There's never any of that with Steve Kozola. You are one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life.
I appreciate that.
Right? So I think for you, it would be a bad strategy to double down and say, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to be more disciplined. Although I do think you could be more disciplined in a certain environment. Maybe we'll talk about it off camera.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think you need to be more grind. Because I think you're being ground right now. And I think that's maybe what you don't recognize.
So you see the teeter falling in that side in terms of, hey, maybe you're grinding a little too
Dude,
hard.
I think you're grinding too hard, brother.
Yeah.
I think you're grinding too hard.
And and that's a fair statement, man. It really is. Because I've noticed it too.
Yeah, and I think because one thing I know about you too is you're loyal, but you're almost loyal to a fault. So much so that you're willing to like sacrifice some of your happiness to forego making someone else be unhappy, right?
But I think in this environment, dude, like, you gotta think, like, here's one of my biggest things that I wanted to fucking talk to you about. Like, Steve, motherfucker, like, I see you in less than 5 years in a fucking cage fighting Conor McGregor for that belt. Honest to God. Honest to fucking God, dude. What I think Steve Kozola needs to do is in every fucking room of his house, there needs to be a picture of fucking Conor McGregor. And every single day you say to yourself, what am I doing to beat that man? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What am I? Because he's the fucking champ, dude. He's the champ of fucking life. Everyone loves that dude, right?
Yeah.
And you, fucking goddamn it, dude, like, you have the capacity to beat that person. I know it here. I'm not saying that because I like you. I'm knowing that because I've seen the damage those fucking fists can do, dude. I think you can knock him out. I've seen the dedication. I've seen the work ethic. I've seen everything, dude. I honestly think you're capable of it. But I think somewhere along this road, just recently, you've turned off the path somewhere. And that's why I'm here telling you, like, dude, you got it. Like, let's find where you fucking took that wrong little turn, right? And let's get you back on here to that road, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, what does fucking Conor do every day? I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone tells me now, they're like, Corey, you could be the next Joe Rogan. And you know what I say? I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I'd love that. I'd fucking love that, right? But everyone's like, you know what you gotta do right now? You almost gotta mimic him a bit. And I fucking hate that, because you know how I am. Like, I gotta be like OG. I gotta be original. And you know, as time goes on, like, I'm going to be original and I'm gonna step in there. But for right now, it's like, I gotta walk in the steps of that Titan until I find my exit to circumvent and get around him. And that's all I'm saying to you right now too, is like, get it in your head, dude. Like, that's my target. You got your target, dude. You got your fucking target. What does he do? What does he do? You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And I see where you're going at with that because
sorry. Where I go with that too is this. So in my mind, what I think is that dude doesn't. He comes off a lot pompous, but we don't know how his lifestyle is in the background. But I know that Conor McGregor puts priority number one as his career. You know what I'm saying? And I know that sounds shitty because, like, dude, I know you're a loving father. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that's a tough area for me to fucking, like, tell you, like, hey, put your career ahead of your kid, because I don't believe that, right? The career is meant to help and show and do all this stuff. But what I'm saying is, like, when it comes to everything else, like, career comes first. That, me becoming the champion, me getting there, that's my priority, and I have to sacrifice some things to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I know what I said was just a whole bunch of motivational like mumbo jumbo, but like, no, dude, like, tell me how you feel about that shit.
Well, no, I definitely see where you're going with it. It's a balance of, you know, your inner life versus your outer life, the interior versus the exterior, and plus all. I mean, and then he's talking about emulating someone, right?
Right.
You know, and there's a lot. You know, I look up to Conor in a lot of ways. And my thing about it though is, you know, he definitely lives a different life than I do.
For sure.
And, you know,
you don't have to copy the style necessarily.
No, for sure.
But I'm saying, like,
and I never try to copy his style,
yeah.
you know. But what's cool though is, like, you know, what's cool though, I, like, as a father of a son, I love seeing him as a father of a son, and I'm interested to see, you know, at least from what we get to see of him, how that kind of adjusts him.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a different person than you are before your dad, and there's definitely a different person you are after your dad.
Dude, I was thinking about that yesterday. Sorry to
No.
tangent on that, but I was thinking about that yesterday. It's almost like the way, like, I was trying to think of it was like, when I have a kid, dude, like, I feel like I'm gonna be reborn in a way. Like, a part of me is gonna die, and then another part of me is gonna be reborn.
Well, not only reborn, it's
or born.
It's not just reborn. So yes, you are reborn in the sense that this human that you've created, but not only that, it's combined, hopefully, and this is my scenario, with the woman of your fucking dreams. You know?
Yeah.
So not only do I see myself in my son, I see the thing I love most in this world that I cherish more than anything, and it's combined.
Right.
So how crazy is that?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
It's a level that's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah,
you know?
And you fucking created it. Like, that came out of like some little fucking coin purse you've been carrying between your legs for your entire life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been jerking your dick out, like, practicing for that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, dude, sorry. No. Total fucking side tangent. I love that shit, and we'll get into it more.
Yeah.
But dude, get into it. Yeah, you're talking about Conor and
yeah, absolutely. So, you know, there's certain things I do like to, not necessarily emulate, but I look at, say, how can I apply that?
Right.
You know,
success is success. And if you look at most successful people,
absolutely,
you'll see probably 80% of that foundation is all the same. I guess that's where I was going with it,
Absolutely.
for sure.
So you definitely see the faith and you see the belief, right? And the thing that makes Connor great is how outspoken he is about that belief in himself.
Right.
And how
he believes in himself.
he believes in
like,
himself.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Right.
To an extraordinary extent. I think any person that's great, especially in a combat sport or individualistic sport, okay? But, you know, in a combat sport too, where it's dangerous. You know, it is dangerous. It's one of the more dangerous sports out there. You know, I don't like to get caught up on that shit because I look at guys like you and people who are in the military, and I'm like, don't be a bitch. It's just a sport. You know, it's hand-to-hand combat, cool, whatever.
Dude, I think you'd be completely shocked to see how many people in the military can't fight or won't fight.
I mean, and I'm so curious about it too. I'm so curious about.
Don't be. There's a lot of fucking cowards and there's a lot of pussies in the fucking military. I would say there's probably like 90% of them that are cowards and pussies.
But you know,
it's a huge number. But I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. Anyway, fuck that shit.
But dude, and then
fuck you guys, dude, fucking military punks. Thinking you're so damn tough.
No, but I mean, but you see that in fighters though. You see fighters who act like they're tough and they act like they're the shit, right? And then what? They suck. They're actual assholes.
True.
You know? But they come off with this belief and this cockiness about themselves.
Right.
And
so that's ego.
For sure.
There's a difference between being an egotist and an egoist. And this is some Ayn Rand philosophy for those of you that want to know. The difference is having the ego completely run everything in your life and having nothing to really back it up other than like maybe a few things. The egoist is someone who knows, like they have an integrated self-esteem. The ego isn't running the show, but they have experience and they have knowledge and they have a whole repertoire of things to say, hey, guess what? Like, I have reason to show you why I hold myself in such superiority. I think in your case, you can probably roll that out there, and so can't Connor. And that's why I say that to you. You know, if it was some fucking schmuck that came up to me and was like, I'm a pro MMA fighter and I'm the fucking shit, blah, 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 and it's like, yo, I see you eating fucking Taco Bell every day and drinking a fucking 40, and when you train, you fucking cheat, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're the opposite, dude. Like, you are like the 99.999%. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are genetically gifted. You have the fucking work ethic like a motherfucker. Like, everything is in line, except for that one thing, I think, where you're struggling. And I would say I even struggled there too, but I'm trying to, like, I'm getting there now. It's like, fuck that. Like, no, look at my background. Look at how I carry myself. Look at my habituation. You know what I'm saying? Like what I was talking about earlier? I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. And I fucking deserve to be on top of that fucking... I deserve to have that title shot against Conor McGregor. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, dude, I think that's you. And that's why I invest time and I invest energy and I invest my fucking love into you. It's because it's like, it's hard to find people like that in this world today.
it is.
It's hard to find people that wake up every single day and say, dude, I want to be the best, most optimal human being I could fucking be. And not just that, like, I also want to be that way to other people. I want to be a role model to them to show them that they could achieve this. And that's you, man. So where's the hiccup, dude? Where's the hiccup? Because Steve Kozola, after he fucking knocked out Jake Roberts, and he sat there and he called out Dylan Dennis, and he was on top of the fucking world, dude, that was Steve. That was Steve. That was the truest Steve I've ever seen in my entire life.
And that's interesting that you say the truest Steve, because for me, in all honesty, that's not the truest Steve. Because that's only the Steve that gets put on that platform and becomes Steve, the Thunder Beast, Kozola, the entertainer, the fighter. Right?
I agree with that.
You know, so don't get me wrong.
It's called a persona. But at the same time, like, you were in your fucking prime persona at that point in time. To go be a fighter, you have to put that mask on and you have to do whatever, right? For me to get in front of this camera right now, I also have to throw on my persona. You know me. There's days maybe I'm like this all the time. I don't know. But what I'm saying, dude, is like, you weren't being fake. You weren't being unrealistic. I don't know. I think you're being authentic to, like, being that shining star. Honestly.
Well, I think there's definitely two sides of that. I think that one thing that makes me a successful fighter, and I mean successful in a variety of ways, not just in my record, but also I love my life. I love my life as a husband and as a father, as a friend.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do love that grind routine for sure. But
Yeah, if you weren't a MMA fighter tomorrow, it's not like you would just all of a sudden hang up your fucking fitness career.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd be going and doing crazy shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I could see you running in fucking stupid 230-mile Moab.
Oh hell no, no fucking Moabs, no way. That's fucking insane. No, I'll do some Spartan racing. I'll do that. I'll start with that. I'll work my way up to maybe a marathon someday or something just menial. But anyhow, no, there's definitely a balance, man. There's definitely a switch.
Yeah.
There's definitely, it's time to turn on, it's time to be a fighter and everything like that, and then it's time to turn it off.
Right.
You know, and be a husband and a father and a friend. You know, and I do, you know, and it's easy yet it's hard. And I know that's a complicated answer. It's easy because when it's time to go, when I'm practicing, my gear's on.
Right.
You know,
I like to use the phrase simple but complex.
absolutely.
There's a lot of
simple, not
complexity
easy.
to it. Yeah.
Simple, not
exactly.
easy. That's what my sports
Simple, not easy.
Yeah, no, Tim Dixon, my sports psychologist, he always says that simple, not easy. But
Are you still going?
we're definitely in communication a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, he's a very busy guy, man. That guy grinds, that guy travels, and everything like that. And then also too with my schedule, my grind, my travel, it's been hard to connect. You know, I haven't I haven't seen him since before, like a week before my fight.
Okay.
But we have talked on the phone, and we have talked, you know, text messages back and forth, and had some talks about.
You know my belief on psychology, so.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So no,
I think
and no, it's and he's a huge part of that team too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, it's hard to. I guess the ego, the mind, the spirit, everything. I do have a hard time in balancing these two,
Right.
because I truly see them as two very different people. I see Steve, the fighter, as, you know, just aggressive, going after it. Like when I train,
Bloodthirsty fucking
and
killer.
you know
Yeah,
this because
absolutely.
you've rolled with me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to rip your head off.
Well, and I've also gotten in the cage with you.
And you've also gotten against me, and I'm trying to
really hard.
And I'm trying to hit, and I'm going to hit you. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and that's amplified through training and
Right.
training a lot.
Right.
Where that aggressive guy came out of it.
Right,
You know. So, and I was also in the gym where it's just naturally, you know, you're just walking around. You're trying to be as just nice and as welcoming as you can all the time. But again, you're always in the gym, and
Right.
and you're very respected at that gym, which I'm very honored to be as respected as I am at that gym, and I'm honored to have the team that I have there. I mean, it's an amazing facility. But man, I feel like when I drive my hour and a half back to my house, like, you got that time to just deflate everything.
Right, for
You
sure,
know, you're
for
no
sure.
longer the fighter. You know, you're not the manager. You're not the sport. Like, you're just a person, and
Right.
you're just Steve. And being just Steve, which is the person, you know, my wife and son and my friends, they don't care if I'm a fighter, if I'm a gardener, they just love me for me. You know, so it's just becoming simplifying that, and only worrying about kind of like that space, you know, where it's very relaxed, it's very calm, it's very safe. You know, I love, you know, part of me is a homebody, but by a homebody, I don't just mean like where I live, but I do love my just inner circle of my family and my friends.
Absolutely.
And I don't really like to go outside that circle because I don't like it, because
Absolutely.
this is my time to feel safe.
Yeah.
When I'm training and everything like that, you're
That's going outside.
you're clicked in.
Absolutely.
You're defending yourself. You're trying to learn. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to improve as much as you can, you know, and grind it out as hard as you can. Thinking, what can I do better? What can I do next? So, I guess in breaking this down, I'm seeing that I did a lot of more grinding that camp,
Yeah.
and a lot less relaxing. So I was grinding because I was at that gym a lot, and when I was at that gym, I was training a lot.
Right.
You know, and
You
now
also
that-
took on big responsibility with management.
I did.
And management, dude, like, I'll tell you honestly, that shit grinds you down. I believe. You know, doing the back work, the background work of stuff, and focusing on clients and focusing on the business and managing other people, that's difficult. It takes a lot out of you.
It is.
I can tell you from my experience of owning my CrossFit gym, that was one of the hardest parts. Was like hurting the fucking cats. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, that detracted a lot away from that too. So, I mean,
absolutely.
and it's a difficult. So this is what I talk about too. Is like, it's like, well, if I don't manage well, then that means that I'm losing more money, and that's putting a financial burden on my family and all this other stuff. So like, now you have this interior fucking elastic band pulling apart, and it's like, fuck, dude. Like,
Yeah.
damned
Sure.
if I do, damned if I don't. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I think that might be one of them. honestly, I think that might be one of the things that changed big time.
Yeah,
and that's why we saw
change.
a drop in energy when you stepped in there. You know what I'm saying? Because like the Steve I know, dude, like when you got taken down, dude, you're one of the strongest skinny motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life. Seriously, like I've ever felt in my life too. Because when I'd roll you in jets, it's like, god damn, like who the fuck is this guy? You know? So I think there's something that kind of sapped.
Well, it's definitely more mind space because I am responsible. I have more responsibility at the gym. Whereas at just being a trainer, you're just being a trainer, right? I mean, you'd have your stresses, of course, with other aspects of it.
Yeah.
And it's from where I was at.
You got water over there, buddy? You need some more?
I would love some.
Get some water.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man.
But it's definitely
This is Carl's Bad Water, by the way. Shout out to Carl's Bad Water. Alkaline drinking water. They're not really paying me anything to say that, but I just want to let you guys know it's really good water. It's the best.
Good stuff. But
it's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
It's the best.
But yeah, definitely a lot more headspace with that for sure, and just a lot more of managing just different stresses now. I mean, when your life changes like that, you're managing different stresses. You're managing the stress of making sure that you're dropping your son off on time and making sure you're having enough gap to go, get to work. And your work's a long commute now, as opposed to it being 20 minutes. It's hour.
What do you do on your commutes?
Podcast listening.
Yeah. That's all I do now.
Podcast listening.
Anytime I'm driving.
Or motivational stuff.
Yeah, motivational stuff.
Motivational stuff is huge for me. Like I liked,
I'm bad at that sometimes though. Like I've just recognized that within the last month of my life, where I'm like, dude, at least once a week, you need to listen to something motivational to just kind of fill those tanks back up.
I have something at least once. I mean, daily. It's daily.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
and
I'm sure because you're fucking grinding, dude. Absolutely.
It is, and it's grinding, man. And there's, I think my battle right now is I'm trying to find that spot because, man, when you listen to a lot of these motivational speeches or these podcasts that have great guests on, special people, that 1%, that 0.001%, those guys are on there. Yeah. And I'm hearing about their schedules. I'm hearing about their grind.
Right.
And I'm hearing about all this, and I'm like that's a lot.
Yeah.
These guys are waking up early and they're grinding out every second in between.
Right.
So it's like I got to do that, and I got to do that to the best of my ability. But, and this is always going to be my but, and I'm it will always be, and it's not a bad but. It's the but that I chose, and I will always choose it. For sure. It will always be my wife and my son.
For sure.
And so it's like those guys who are that 1%. It's like, hey, they're fucking amazing athletes and they're amazing superstars.
Right. They're amazing business owners.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Great for you.
And do we know how their home life is?
No.
Absolutely. We don't know.
So I would even argue that a lot of those people will find a lot of imbalance in their life.
Absolutely.
I think you had it figured out a few months back, dude. Like when we were shooting the bow and stuff like that, you're like, dude, I'm feeling good. I'm able to do this. I'm happy. My headspace is great. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm able to, tend to my family and love my family and be there and all this other stuff. I think that we are inundated right now with all of these like motivational type people, the Tony Robbins, the Donald Trump who sleeps 4 hours a fucking night. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see guys like Dwayne Rock Johnson, Kevin Hart.
Right.
I mean,
dude, fucking The Rock was in the gym at fucking 3:00 in the morning the other day. Fucking Instagram.
Eric Thomas, like Leslie Brown, like I see a lot of them, man, and they talk about that grind. And that's again, I'm always comparing myself to someone. I'm seeing like, man, were they beating me? But man, they're getting up so much earlier than me.
But you got to think of what age they're at now too. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say they did have kids at your age. Think about how they're. Dude, I remember looking at The Rock when he had hair, and still kind of had man boobs a little bit. Not to say you had complete man boobs, The Rock. I love you, dude. But you had a little something there. I feel it too. I got some there too, some tissue. But you were able to watch his body change over that time frame of the last 25 years of how he's tailored his schedule, right? And he's probably, some of those responsibilities have probably been pushed away where he's been able to add other key things that help out with his with his career, right? So, I mean, I think some of that, I just think keep doing what you're doing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, because I get the same way too. I'm like, man, fuck, I should be a millionaire right now. I'm 32 years old. I'm fucking broke as a joke, college student.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I should be there. It's cool to take some of the tools away, but yeah, comparing myself to some people sometimes, it really like kind of puts me in a foul place sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, man. But when I just focus on my journey in California so far,
Yeah.
I moved out here February of 2013. It is now, about almost Halloween.
Yeah.
2013,
4.5 years.
Right, 4.5 years.
Yeah.
I started out sleeping on a couch.
Yeah.
No car, no nothing.
Right.
Fast forward to now.
Right.
And I wasn't even a professional fighter at this time.
Uh-huh.
And then like now where I'm at there, it's like, although my last fight didn't have the result that it wanted to, I think I'm still doing the right things. Because I look at my life, I love where I live. I love my family.
Right.
I do love my life, and I love this grind.
Yeah.
Is there a part that and I did think at that time I put myself in the best position to win that night, as best as I could at that time. You
went with the strategy that you thought was going to be.
I went with it.
Right.
And I put everything I could into it.
Absolutely.
And it's just one of those things that maybe that strategy is something I improved on, but with this different life, with this different schedule and change, you got to switch it now.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe I just didn't switch it well enough. I didn't put the Rubik's Cube together enough to beat Carrington Banks on that day.
Right, for sure.
And so what I'm doing now, and I made a lot of changes since then, but again, it is more, but when I'm reflecting on it now, it is a lot more in that grinding aspect. And just being more diligent with recording my workouts, just different things like that. So, gamer die.
Oh, fucking Murphy and technology today.
Murphy
I'm
and
all right.
technology.
Hey, guess what? We got this going on. We got people watching live, and
That's awesome.
yeah, hey, everybody, leave some comments if you want to hear anything. You got more comments than I do. It's all right.
So it's all good. But no, I'm just enjoying. I'm honestly just enjoying the reflection of it. In all honesty, you know? And so I have made some changes in terms of being more diligent, recording my workouts, what I'm doing, and I'm waking up earlier now. I'm adjusting my schedule a little bit so I don't put so much pressure on myself to just waking up earlier now, like just getting up at 4:45. Not all the time. It's just for now. It's just on the days that I go to work and just getting a workout in, because it allows me more time in the afternoon to just kind of deflate more. I don't have to worry about getting that extra workout.
So there's something we could talk about there too, though, because I've been playing with that a lot lately as well. So I'm on a pretty strict keto diet, and I've changed my schedule from before waking up at like 7:30, 8, and then going to bed at like 11 to midnight, to now making sure I wake up at least 5 days a week at 6 o'clock. Otherwise, like today I woke up at like 7:30. But like that's the latest I'll sleep in until. There's some hormonal changes that go on there. The way that your body starts producing hormones and different types of chemicals throughout the day has now shifted, right? So with this diet and waking up at different times, and then like you said, you're switching your workout time from maybe like 11 o'clock when the sun's all out and glistening, and you're like, man, it feels good right now, and the birds are chirping and everything feels great, to now it's like, fuck, it's dark and dreary out and I'm slow to move right now and things aren't feeling as great and all this other stuff. There's a big time change with all that stuff.
Absolutely.
That, like, I could feel it within my school semester so far, where it's been like, man, I had to come home the other day, literally 5 o'clock. I laid down on that couch, dude, and I fucking passed out. And I don't do stuff like that normally.
Yeah.
And I was just like, my body was like at a point where it's like, wow, you've been pushing hard with the gym, you've been pushing hard with jiu-jitsu, you've been pushing hard with the podcast, you've been pushing hard in school, like you're putting all these unrealistic expectations on yourself on certain things too. It's like brain and body just need like time out, Yeah. So like, absolutely. Yeah, man, it's a fucking huge adjustment. And I think this is something too, like I do want to talk about that, because like for my listeners, I think one of the big things is, we kind of crave comfort, especially coming from like a PTSD type of experience in life, where it's like, man, you kind of get used to like coddling yourself a little bit, and then you realize like, I'm not living life optimally, so now I need to make this change to get myself out of this comfort zone. But as we know, like getting yourself out of a comfort zone, that's a really fucking, it's arduous. It's really taxing on the mind and the body to like,
even for anyone, I think. And this
for
is
anyone,
someone
absolutely.
like with your experience in the military and everything like that, everything you've done, and I'm sure you had to wake up early a lot.
Right.
I mean, that was part of it, right?
Absolutely.
And then
it sucked.
When I first moved out here, I was getting up at 3:45, 5 days a week. Yeah. And going to work and getting to the gym by 4. I was doing it, and but I did lose that at a point because I didn't have to do it anymore. Like now, like just wake up at 6. Like I just have to wake up at 6 for work, and that gives me enough time, more than enough time, to get ready, get my son ready, drop him off, everything like that. But doing this change now, it's like I don't have to, and I think you got to get back to that. It's like, not like where you're doing it for work. You're just doing it for yourself.
Right.
And you're starting off that challenge
that's huge.
that day.
That is exactly where I'm trying to go with the war within for people, is to realize it's no longer about doing it for something external. It's not because the boss is going to be mad at you, or the paycheck is going to reflect it, or because you're in the military and someone's going to write you up and get mad at you. Like, now the reason and the motivation why I do things is because it's good for me. It's better for me. It makes me happier, believe it or not, in the long run. Like, I'm investing in the long term rather than investing in the short term pleasures, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, absolutely. It feels great to wake up at fucking 9 o'clock sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even
but at the same time, it doesn't.
That's exactly where I'm gonna go.
Like at the same time, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah, you kind of feel this guilt inside you. Like, I didn't seize the day today.
No.
I didn't produce the best Corey today already in my first action.
Yeah.
And this is the direction I'd love to get out there to people, is like, do the stuff that gets you out of your comfort zone, and it all starts right then and there with that first decision to get up and to get out of bed and to just get the fuck out there,
Yeah, absolutely. And you gotta, the thing is, for me, I have to trick myself. And by trick myself, I mean literally put myself in a scenario that if I don't do it, you are a big loser.
Yeah, absolutely.
The big thing for me, even someone, Corey was generous enough to describe me as disciplined, and I think a lot of my friends would describe me as disciplined, right? Even someone who's disciplined, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
And I have to do all these other things just to trick myself to do it. Otherwise, because I am very honest, I will not do it.
Right.
And I think everyone's like that to an extent.
Absolutely.
But the more you just allow yourself with when you put it off, the more you're just depowering yourself that you can't do it anymore.
You're digging.
You're
digging a hole, man. Yeah, you're gonna have to dig out of a big
no,
hole.
this just isn't me anymore. No, you can always choose it to be you.
For sure.
So even today, it was so nice on a Sunday. I was in bed with my son because he kicked out, my wife at early in the morning. So I wake up at 7 o'clock. I could have gotten up with him.
Right.
I was like, no, come on, buddy, come here, hug daddy. Let's just go back to sleep a little bit. And we slept until 8:30, which is amazing. I mean, usually he's up at 7 or whatever, but that felt great. And I'm thinking just tomorrow, already, even early today, I'm like, tomorrow's Monday.
Right.
I'm supposed to get up at 4:45 in the morning tomorrow to lift at 5.
Yeah.
And initially I'm just it just goes right to the part you don't like.
Yeah.
That initial I'm tired, I'm sore, a little bit longer. Oh, I just slept in.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't eat as good as you did.
I deserve this. That's one of the things that happens in my head too, is it tries to trick me into saying I deserve.
Just an extra day.
Yeah.
Just an extra whatever.
Yeah.
We go,
absolutely. I can cheat. I can have a cheat meal today.
What's funny is you try to make sure I don't need to lift for an hour. I'm just gonna 15 minutes. And I'm just gonna run instead.
Yeah.
Because I lifted the other day and that's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna run. I'm gonna adjust it, and I'll convince myself that's the smart thing to do. And then you don't do it, and then it just will. Sometimes it'll just keep on going from that. Sometimes it is just that little thing of adjustment, and whether or not that was a good right move or wrong move, whatever. But it starts with that, and then just keeps going worse to you just think you deserve these things more, as opposed to just sticking with that principle of no, this is just what I do.
You're tearing down the fucking house that you built, man. When you do stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is what I call again, with the war within. That's what I call the darkness. That's what I consider this constant battle between light and dark on the inside. It's that little shadowy saboteur that just reaches in your ear and's hey bro, you don't have to go that hard today. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to go to the gym. You're hurt. Your back is sore. Your back is tight. Or today I want to run. So I'm sure after this, that little voice is going to come in and be you don't need to run today. You'll just hit the treadmill tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's these things that
it's more convenient time, more convenient act.
Right.
It's not as hard.
Right.
It's not as hard because I'm doing it later as opposed to earlier. It's not as hard because I went from a hard workout or a workout I don't like as much to an easier workout or a workout I just enjoy doing more. or and then it comes down to then it gets like to food, and then it comes down with it. I mean, it will trickle down so far if you allow it, and that's why I feel like people almost like lose themselves.
For sure. What do you do to trick yourself into?
So for me, like as far as like in the morning stuff, I put out what I'm gonna eat. It's already out on the table. I already have my clothes out, and it's out. And it's out. Like I have to get up, and I put everything in the kitchen, ready to go. I have my alarm on my watch that goes off. It's just a vibration, so whoever's next to me won't wake up.
Yeah.
But
I
put my phone alarm out. That's
in
like
the kitchen
like
or something like that.
kitchen where it's going to be loud and it
Yeah.
will wake them up, and that will be a very upsetting moment for
Yeah.
everyone. So I put that for like 2 minutes after. So I'm like doing it not usually just 1 minute after. So when I get up, you have 1 minute to get to that phone before that phone goes off, and it's going to wake up everyone.
Yeah.
So it just forces you to get up right away. You just get moving. Okay, I'm already in the
I
kitchen.
got to put my feet onto the ground.
I got it, and I have to get up, and I have to walk at least 10 feet to get to where my phone is. And then by the time I'm there, I already see my clothes out, and I already see my breakfast there, and I know my pre-workout or whatever, or my tea, whatever I'm drinking that morning, is already there. And it's like, might as well. Like, you've come this far.
Right.
Like, what are you gonna do? Go back to just try to go back to sleep, which is gonna take probably another 15 minutes. Probably gotta pee now and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like just put yourself in a position where it's like it'd be stupid for you to turn back. Like you're so lazy that it's like you're so lazy you won't turn back now. You just might as well just do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, and I'm just
you're already out of your warm covers.
Exactly.
You're already cold, so you might as well.
Exactly. And you know what? And then what's cool is too, it's like, hey, just put your headphones on. Ashley got me these great new headphones. These they go over because my ears all
Yeah.
No more earbuds in this bad boy.
No.
Yep, now I have to go over. So put those in. I'm like, get that motivational again.
Yeah.
Turn your brain off, because your brain is a little bitch right now, trying to convince you not to.
Yeah.
It's
a little boy.
Get something in that. Get something in your mind that's going to push you. Whatever. Whether you listen to it before. I mean, I like motivational speaking. I love hakas. You and I talked about this. Oh my god, I love that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Fires me up.
Yeah,
love it.
I get a rager from that shit.
Oh my! I mean, and whatever. Sometimes and sometimes it's seeing a video that I took of my wife and kid.
Yeah.
And just remembering why I'm doing this.
Yeah, for sure.
It's listening to a voicemail that a really cool voicemail that you Eddie or someone just like, hey champ, nice what's up buddy, it inspires me and it pushes me. It's like, okay, do this, get that in your ear as quick as possible, and that's what works for me. And that's what I just found for myself to be successful. As soon as I get that voice in my ear really quick, especially early in the morning, it sets my day off on the right path at least. And I'm putting myself in the mindset of be great today.
Yeah, absolutely.
But with that being said, it's hard to be great every single day, because then you start, what did you say? You get grounded.
Yeah, for sure.
You get grounded,
Yeah.
So then, so it's important to find those times where, okay, find your day to sleep in if that's your thing, or find whatever your reward is. Make sure you earn it.
Right.
Earn it first, but make sure you're giving yourself that reward enough.
Yeah.
And whatever
Absolutely.
that is.
So
and then maybe I didn't reward myself enough with the bonding the more male bonding that I did last time in my fight. Like you talked about,
Right.
We would meet at least once a week, and we were pretty darn consistent with that.
Right.
With the shooting. Last time I shot with you was the last time that was the last time I shot. I was having a shot on my own. When I used to shoot on my own all the time.
Right.
I was obsessed.
Obsessed.
I was shooting a lot of
Yeah,
arrows.
you fucking made your fingers raw from that shit.
I did.
Yeah.
And I've lost it. I've lost my archery.
Right.
So maybe that's a sign like, hey, why don't we bring that back? Because there's something in that.
Right.
Because I remember being so upset with with Bradley once that I literally just went to actually, I'll be back in 30 minutes.
Right.
I just want to go shoot my arrows.
Right. Absolutely.
And then when I came
Well,
back,
there's something very metaphysical, and there's something very spiritual about that, where it's like,
it was primal too.
well, for sure.
But
if you think about it,
but yet relaxing.
What you're looking at right now is in that instance, you realized there's some habituation that I'm doing, or there's something in my life that isn't hitting the bullseye. Think about that. You're like, something has rocked me out of my balance. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at life as what we're trying to do, we're trying to hit the bullseye on everything, in every aspect of our life, financial, relational, sexual,
whatever it is that we're doing,
for sure,
we're trying to hit the bullseye.
For sure, absolutely.
And
there's a lot of fucking times where we're missing.
A lot.
And then you're just like, you know what I'm going to go do? I'm going to focus my mind on the same thing. And I'm just going to go through this. It's meditative, right? Mm-hmm. You're just going through the same motions over and over. You see the bullseye down there, and you're fucking firing to hit it. And it's just like, man, this helps. This helps a lot. And then, usually when you and I would shoot, we were always BSing about life and talking about different stuff. And
Yeah.
here's where I see myself in 3 months. Here's where I see myself in 6 months.
Yeah.
Here's where I see myself in 2 years, and here's where I see myself in
That was
5 years.
therapeutic too, because I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it was, you know, it was one of us having a hard time,
Right.
or I mean, but we always would be there for each other, or just celebrate people, or sometimes we just have to, you know, be a little like bitch about people, and sometimes we're like, this is really annoying me about this, like whatever,
Yeah.
you know, whatever it is, you know, just get our little thing out. But then like it's just that's it and it's done,
Right.
you know, and it's just between guys just to get it out and to speak about it, like make it real, get the perspective of that other person that you respect.
Well, it's getting it out. It's getting it out of the internal.
No, it's important.
And that's another thing that I was thinking is like, there's a lot of stuff that Steve's holding on to, and I could see it when you stepped into the cage. That there was and that's why I wanted to lead this kind of discussion off too with like, fuck man, like,
what was it?
what's going on? Because like usually I could see Steve like up and tall, you know what I'm saying, and this kind of like, you're kind of just, I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Both, I mean,
you know,
we could definitely figure that out.
No, you know what? I mean, I don't ever think it's just one thing.
No, I agree. I don't
You
think
know?
we're gonna find the golden piece.
Yeah,
of the puzzle.
exactly. I don't think it's
I
like.
think it's like we gotta like
sometimes
throttle
it is.
down something here, throttle down something here, throttle down something here, add something in here, like throttle that back up.
And that's exactly why, you know, I've been talking ever since the fight on a regular basis to all my coaches, to Ashley, to, you know, my friends, to you, like, you know, like I'm glad we're doing that, you know, now that we have this platform to talk about.
Right,
but
for sure.
I've been waiting to do this with you ever since the fight.
Yeah.
You know,
Same.
because I've done it with you know, other people as well.
Right,
So
right.
I love getting other people's perspective. And the cool thing about your perspective that you always give is that it is that go deeper. I've talked to my coaches about the
external,
the external
out there,
right?
Yeah.
You know, and I've talked to Ashley more about the home life,
Right.
and what was going on in there,
Right.
and what we can make adjustments with and make it better, you know. And then now it's like talking to, you know, my friends, and then each of my friends just have a great perspective on something. You know, they know me in this certain just little way,
Right.
and it's like this is what I see.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's like I internalize that. I'm like, what do I believe applies, and what do I think I can fix like right now?
Yeah.
You know, and so from you, what I'm getting a lot from you is at this moment, like, you know, as soon as I said the archery thing, I missed that.
Right. You probably felt something inside you. Like,
No, it zinged. It zinged like that's a sign. Like, hey,
Right.
you know, that's not saying it's the golden nugget. It's not saying
Right.
that means you're all of a sudden go undefeated for 12 years and, you know,
Right,
whatever.
for sure.
But it's saying at this moment, if it zinged like that,
Right.
it's important.
There was
you
something
need
that
to
was
find back
passionate
at.
in my life
Yeah.
before that filled me up, and I'm not doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, and not always seeing, you know, making time for those type of training sessions, because that's training too. I think, you know, was I maybe focused on that grind type of training too much, and not so much the mind. You know, I mean, it's still an activity, it still requires something physical, but it is more mental than anything.
for
I
sure.
think, you know, whether it's shooting guns or shooting arrows.
Right.
You know, but I have definitely done the least amount of shooting in that camp that I've done in a long time.
Right.
Especially in that last one, I was shooting a lot. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I missed it a lot.
And you came in there and
it's
fucking knocked out Robertson.
I mean, again, just all types of changes, man. But it's just breaking it down and seeing it, man. And I'm excited for this. You know, there's potentially another fight coming up soon. I'm not gonna, you know, beginning of next year, hopefully. I'm not gonna get any specifics. We'll talk about this. And man, I'm telling you, I heard about this date even before my last one as a potential date, and ever since I got home, I have been literally counting down the days to this date.
Yeah.
I want this comeback.
Yeah.
I want this fight, and I want to make. And I'm so motivated to make these adjustments and just keep on tweaking, to just go in there, put myself in this position again, and come out there with that look that you said. Like, man, I want to come out there with that look again.
You need to be on fire again.
And I am.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. Like, I can't tell you how bad I want back in there. Because another thing is too is that I had a lot of success with those first 8 fights. There were 7 of them were knockout, 1 was a submission.
Right.
Not one of them went to the 3rd
Right.
round. They were against guys. I mean, not that I didn't go against wrestlers, but I never went against a wrestler like that, which you know, which I knew was going to be a really difficult challenge for me, seeing as like I've never wrestled before.
Right.
You know, and I knew it was going to be a challenge, but you know that's the worst thing that I mean. Like, I feel like I've already been through the hard part. It's like I faced that. I faced that. You know, that if you're going to call it a kryptonite, I faced it now, and I survived it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like it takes away that, it's just like man, you just want like that killer mode comes in. Like, you're the hunter. You are not the hunted and hoping to come out and pull something out of your ass.
Right.
You always need to be the hunter. You're the fucking alpha. You're the guy who's gonna go in there and you're gonna fuck that dude up.
Right.
Not that I'm gonna catch him or I'm gonna get him in a mistake. Which I think that was another big thing that, as far as my mentality going there.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I think I was looking to catch him.
You were looking.
I was looking to catch him coming in with the knee. I was looking to catch him coming in with a unique strike. I was looking to catch him with a submission.
So if I were to look at your stance, because that's the biggest thing that I look at.
Oh man,
what happens here?
It's all right. I'm just gonna restart it again.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Oh, just up there.
Where, this one?
You hit the camera up in the top right hand corner.
That guy?
Yep.
Uh huh.
And start the video.
Okay. Hopefully that doesn't happen on mine, but we'll see.
No,
yeah.
Instagram.
All right.
Time limits. Why do you have time limits, Instagram?
Come on, bro.
No
get on it. Let's get on it.
Yeah,
so yeah, that's one thing I noticed about your stance though, is you were kind of like, it looked like you're sitting there and you're
waiting.
You're waiting. Yes, exactly.
Why are you waiting?
I was like, fucking Steve, no, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, you're the thunder beast.
No.
Like, I was waiting for fucking combos. Like, you didn't set up for combo. Like, I hate to sit there and like,
No, dude.
But I was like,
it's the truth of it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, normally you're full of energy and you're like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go leg kick, outside leg kick, 1, 2, hook, out, like inside leg kick, and set up my combos and then move and shift angles. You were like,
still.
Oh my god, dude! I was like, no, like,
no, 100%, dude. And that's
again,
and that's tough. And like,
it was unnatural to you. It was unnatural to you, and I could see it and I could feel it.
Yeah, but that's what you get for looking at someone or something,
right?
And you're worried about what they're gonna do,
right?
As opposed to focusing on what you need to do.
Oh my god, that's like the fucking hey! If you guys have heard any one thing in this whole entire thing, that's life. That is like the key lesson to life. We're so focused on sitting here and looking out and figuring out what everybody else is gonna do, rather than just doing what the fuck we need to do every single day of our lives. Like, hands down, that is the message of the war within. Like, focus the fuck on you and your actions, and guess what's gonna happen? Good shit. Don't worry about anything fucking else out there. Just focus on you. Coming from a professional fighter in the ring, he knew it. Copy that. Figure that out in your life and fucking go after it. Anyway, go ahead.
No, but definitely, and watching the fight, watching the fight and seeing that.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what everyone else is thinking too. Because I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you not moving? Why are you not jabbing?
Yeah.
Why aren't you level changing? Why aren't you hitting?
Oh, God, you're saying everything that I was saying, dude. I was like, Steve!
No, and that's just in the stand-up. Even
Yeah.
on the ground. Where's your underhooks? Why aren't you getting to your hip? Why isn't your foot coming back? Why aren't you controlling his head? Like, all those things.
Yeah.
And hindsight's always going to be 20/20.
For sure. Absolutely.
But,
it's
saying
it looked like you're sitting there thinking a lot.
Yeah.
You're just thinking.
It was. And it was thinking, and every time I delayed on that and I didn't take action, it was
just dug yourself
he got tight.
Yeah.
He adjusted.
For sure.
He pressured it.
Yeah.
And again, it's
just like in jiu-jitsu, you get in a bad position, you have to fucking shrimp.
You have to move.
You have to move.
Gotta move.
Once you recognize it, boom.
Yeah.
Because the second he's gonna flatten you out and you're gonna be in fucking side control.
But that's a lot like life though, is that you got to move. You got to keep on making your adjustments and keep on attacking it. Whether it's on a small scale, on a medium scale, on a big scale, you gotta maneuver and you gotta go. It's just how it is. And the moment you keep delaying and you're not sure of yourself, and you're gonna even be tired. I mean, I was tired in that fight too.
Right, for sure.
There's a strong wrestler laying on top of me, controlling me.
Right.
I was doing a good job of defending myself. Like, I didn't receive any major injuries at all.
I'm not gonna lie, it was a very boring fight.
It was boring. It was
there was barely any strikes.
That's not a knock to Banks at all.
No,
Banks did exactly what he had to do.
He did what he had to do to beat you.
He executed his plan.
Yeah,
He executed to a T. So this is not a knock on him at all. But no, it was not entertaining.
Right.
Because he wasn't attacking and I wasn't attacking.
Right.
It was a positional battle.
It was a position battle for sure.
Against a grappler who's been doing this for a lot longer
Right.
than I have. He executed the game plan, and that's what it was.
Absolutely.
Right? But what do you do, man? You see those adjustments. I mean, you break down everything. Look at everything fresh again. Look at everything and question everything. Question everything that you do again, and then go back and keep on going. But when you go back, there's going to be a big fight there.
Right.
Because again, when you go back, you're going back into the fire. You're going back into the lab. You're going back into the the unsure world of like, is this going? I don't know.
Chaos.
Yeah, it's chaos.
It's chaos.
But you gotta go after it. And you gotta just attack it again.
Dude, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen to you?
Yeah, like it's still scary
For
all
sure.
the time. But you know what though? What was great about this fight, and that what was very meaningful to me, that really kind of touched me on a deeper level than everything, was after this fight. I don't know if I told you this, but this fight was in Oklahoma, all right? And it was just me, our buddy Eddie, and Alex came, my coach, my boxing coach, and my manager and head coach there, right? I lost the fight, and I walk out of the cage very disappointed. It's my first loss as a professional.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
a lot of uncertainty
I
going on
really
right
thought
now.
I really thought I could have. I had the potential to beat him, even though I know I see now all the mistakes. I know I had the potential. I know I could have beat him if I did better. So it was very disappointing. But then I look out into the crowd, and Ashley's there.
Oh, what? I didn't know that.
Ashley's there, and she's there with Kimmy. Like Kimmy and her went to the fight to surprise me.
Oh, damn.
Imagine like the moment I just missed.
Uh-huh.
I could have like what happens if I would have walked out the win? What, got surprised by my wife?
Right.
Awesome,
right.
man! I would have gotten that. Man, I would have gotten that kiss right after. That's the best thing in the world. Like, I live for that shit.
Yeah.
I would have had this great moment, and I just lost it.
Yeah.
Oh man, so you're even lower now. Like
Yeah.
not only just for yourself, but
Well, you're
you
like, I let myself down.
And now,
I think another one of the things too that you don't really talk about, and I don't know if you want to talk about, but because obviously the fighting world, you don't want to give out a lot of ammo. But I think with you in particularly, knowing how proud of an individual you are, it's like you want to bring home the bacon to the mama.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you want her to stop having to work so hard, and you want to feel like, I'm supporting my family.
Of course.
And now that loss, like, almost like in a way jeopardizes that. It's like you get all this fear kind of rushing in, like, fuck, am I going to get it? Well, obviously you have one more fight on your contract, right? With
I have
Belator.
two more.
Two more. Oh, so we're fucking good.
Yeah.
But in that mindset, it's like, fuck. Well, one, I'm not undefeated anymore. Two, this could jeopardize my career somehow, some way, right?
Three, you didn't bring home the win money.
Yeah, you didn't bring fuck
didn't
exactly.
bring home
Yeah, I didn't
money.
even think of that shit.
You didn't bring home the win
Yeah,
money.
you didn't bring home the bacon.
Right?
And it's like
you could have put yourself in double the financial position that you could have if you won.
Absolutely.
You didn't.
Yeah, and then you look out and you see.
No, I mean, honestly, that's not the first thing I think of.
Right, no.
But still,
I'm saying there's probably something subconsciously
Of
going on
course.
there where it's like,
Of course.
fuck, man, like, god damn it, like, at least I was gonna have some time to like, talk to her. Now I'm looking directly at her, and it's like, fuck, I feel disappointed.
Yeah,
I feel like I've disappointed my family as well.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of that stuff, and I think that's another one of the pressures that you might be dealing with too. To be honest with you, is like this pressure to like achieve and succeed so that you can. Because damn, dude, like that's a tough ladder to climb.
Dude,
like that's a really fucking tough ladder to climb in the MMA world of like getting to a spot where you're making good dollars.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's not like the NFL or the NBA or anything
No,
like
dude,
that.
this is tough.
No, it's a full-time job. I have to.
Dude, just like you now, like you've retired bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like you could walk into a cage and you could break your leg and not fucking be okay next. You know what I'm saying? Like
It can be practice, man.
yeah, that's
That's the scariest thing.
That's what I'm saying too.
What is this?
This is low power mode.
Okay.
Yeah. you're good.
Cloth. I'm
You're
sorry.
good. You're good.
I can plug that bitch in, I think. Keep going.
But I was after the fight. I was sitting where I was having drinks with everyone. Ashley included, and everyone. And I did have a moment where I thought about Bradley.
You started to tear up a little bit.
I left the room.
Yeah.
Because it was coming.
Well,
Like I left the room. I left the bar. And I just walked outside, like where the pool area was. It was just right there. I mean, everyone saw where I was going.
keep going.
And 10 minutes later, like Ashley like walks out, and she sees me crying, and she just hugs me, and I told her like I feel like I let Bradley down, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it and more than financially, but I was with it too, and
right.
And for her to just be so genuine and strong and look at me like, no, like not at all.
Right.
It's okay. Like she knew what I put into that. Like her more than anyone knows what I put into it because she lives with me.
Right.
She sees all the sacrifices I'm making.
Right.
Every time I want to be at home for, I want to be home earlier, spend more time with them. Like, and I got to go to train. like, I gotta go train. She understands that she sacrifices a lot for it too.
Uh-huh.
You know, she puts up with a lot of stuff, and you know, and for her to just be so genuine in that, like, no, you didn't let me down. And then we immediately after that, after we had some drinks, we went to go eat. And I had people who flew out from Illinois to come and see me fight.
Yeah.
And they all joined us for dinner, right? So there were like 8 of us.
Yeah.
And I stand up and I just had this moment where I was just grateful for everyone there because no one it wasn't like we were still having a great time. Even though I lost, like everyone was still just happy to be there.
Right.
And happy to be a part of it. And wanted to show their support and love for me no matter what happened. So I was able to go around and I looked at I took each individual person because I know there's a lot of like different groups there. Like you don't know this person doesn't know you. They don't know your story. You have no idea how you relate back to me.
Yeah.
So I took the moment, just being in that deep setting I was in to point to each person and tell them like how I met them and how amazing they are to me.
Yeah.
Did that to each and every person, and that was such a beautiful moment for me, and it was such clarity in that like you're loved and you're doing the right things. Like, even though you didn't win this fight, you're still winning in a lot of aspects of life because you have this amazing support. You have this amazing unconditional love for you. You know what I mean? So it's like I know I'm on the right path.
You don't have to always be the victor to win in life.
For sure, and that's and the real people that are real for you and like they're there and they're gonna always be there no matter what. So you really get to see who your real friends are and your real family is.
For sure.
And being undefeated for so long, you always question like how deep.
Why?
Exactly.
Why are there people?
Yeah, exactly. Why?
What's so true, dude? I noticed that a lot. That was a huge part of my CrossFit gym. Is that people wanted to be around the king of the castle all the time, but dude, when shit fell apart for me, you know how many people were there? I could name 1 or 2 people out of the 200 plus people that were going in and out of my gym or whatever, and the 40 or 50 people that were trying to constantly be around me to lift their numbers up and to help them get better. You know what I'm saying? Like none of them were around. So yeah, I mean, shit, dude, I get that. Like, and you always kind of have to. That's why it's key too to have that inner group, that inner circle of people.
Yeah.
Those are always going to be the people. Like for you and me, like, when you come up to me and say, "Hey, Corey, like, what's going wrong and what am I doing wrong here?" I'm gonna be like, "All right, listen, bitch." Like, no, I'm gonna give it. You are, but fuck you.
No, and you need you can't have yes men around you.
No.
Or yes people or whatever. I mean, no matter what position you're at, and like what I love about our group too is like we're just all kind of like we're just growing this life together.
For sure.
And we all have different things, but there's still a great love there. And there's just
absolutely.
And true, like I am rooting you on and I want to help you in any way I can.
Absolutely. So one thing I wanted to bring up to you too, man, is like maybe a little bit of the pressure too was coming from, and I think this is good. I always try to look at loss, and I always try to look at adversity, even not succeeding in that adversity, as a great lesson.
Absolutely.
And I think for you, I think maybe the pressure to have this perfect record in front of Bradley was key as well. And there's a lot of pressure
in front of everyone.
Well, for sure.
Who doesn't want to be perfect, right? How do you do something that no one's ever been done before?
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, too, though, you started crying when Bradley was brought up and you started thinking about that.
Yeah.
I think one of the greatest lessons that you're going to be able to teach him is when the going gets fucking tough, dude, you fucking pick your ass up and you fucking keep on going. One of the biggest things that's missing from our society, I honestly believe, is the lessons from the father. I think that's why we're seeing a lot of these issues within this generation of people who are very weak and they're very effeminate and they're scared of their masculinity. And it's because I think that we've removed the father figure from the household and the children aren't able to learn some of the lessons. So let's say, for instance, back in the 1800s, people used to own plots of land and they'd allow people to farm on their land, and the father would be like a carpenter or like a blacksmith or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm borrowing this analogy from Mike Salonius just to give credit where credit is due. But the kids were homeschooled by the mother, and then during breaks of their session or whatever, they'd be outside and they'd be watching their father work, right? So the blacksmith would be in there and he'd be hammering his horseshoe, right?
Yeah.
And he fucks up the horseshoe. And you get to see the father react, right? You see how he reacts when something goes wrong. and he just picks it back up, or he throws that one away to the side, and then he just picks it back up and he just starts going on again.
Yeah.
And then in order for him to like, the other thing and the reason why I think that we have such greed in this world today is because in that aspect too, the children would be able to follow the father when he goes into town to sell his goods. And he'd walk up to another individual and there'd be a fair exchange of money for the whatever, and then there would always be a good handshake. And it's like, I'm only taking enough from this individual for like the value that it is, and to help feed my family and do whatever. And that individual needed it to probably help out their family and help out their business or whatever. So it was like you saw how men and like good, honest, and moral people would conduct business in a fair way and not take advantage of one another. So I guess what I'm saying to you is this: like, this is good for your fatherhood. This is good for
Absolutely.
This is good. This is a good lesson. And the great part is your son's going to be able to watch all this stuff and then reflect back and be like, dude, this happened to my dad, and this is exactly how and his actions were afterwards, and this is how he carried himself afterwards. He didn't get on the microphone and start calling him a fucking bitch, faggot. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that guy. He's a fucking cheater. That was, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, my father composed himself in a very professional manner. He gave respect. He recognized his loss, and he decided that he was going to go back to the drawing board. And guess what? On Monday, he got up 4:45 and he went and started going back to the, you know what I'm saying? And like implementing what his plans were. And oh, by the way, like he backed up every one of his words. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's a gigantic lesson to be teaching.
I think it will show good character, you know, and that's what I want to do, and that's where the motivation's at now too. Is going back, and a loss doesn't need to be a terrible thing. It can be a very motivating thing for a lot longer period of time.
For sure.
It can really fire you for a long period of time that it just overshadows
well, after your last loss, you went on a fucking 8-0 streak with finishes.
Right. So, and I'm just looking to just use that, like I said, after the fight, use that as a catapult to just make me the better person.
Right.
And I think everyone needs to take their losses, whatever those losses are, and adjust those to make you the better person.
Transform them.
And get the hard talks that you need.
Right.
It's not fun hearing how you messed up in places.
Right.
And whatever that place is in your life, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or whatever it is, like, hey, dude, like, you messed up here. But I'm not going to take that talking to and just, have it, like, weigh me down and just, like, demoralize me. No, these are coming from people who, these are people who are trying to help me. These are people who love me, and I know that. So they're telling me this because they want to see me succeed, and they want to, be there to celebrate, they're there to help me when I'm losing, and they're there to celebrate the victories with me, And, you're getting there by yourself, or, I can only imagine what it was like, you and all my people who are close to me, just seeing that and just feeling it. Because again, when we win, it's awesome.
Right.
It's electric.
Yeah.
When we lose, everyone feels it too.
For sure.
But you know what though? The response of everyone, how everyone came together, for me, and it was absolutely outstanding.
Hell yeah. There's one, man, I'll tell you one thing that I've been recognizing in my life too, and I want you to talk about it. But one of the big things that I've been doing, because my nose is to the grindstone as well too. Full-time college student right now. I'm getting ready to transfer to UCSD. I'm still training and doing my own thing, doing jiu-jitsu, trying to develop this podcast and become not so technologically illiterate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to build all this stuff up and obviously, like, raise myself up. And I've been finding lately that I have been failing to have fun. I've been failing to find places in my life where I'm just able to decompress and just go out and have fun. You know what I'm saying?
Like a silly fun, because for me, it's like I enjoy jujitsu and I enjoy
no, jiu-jitsu definitely plays a role where it definitely decompresses me.
But there definitely is but if it's like, hey, let's go with the boys, or let's all go karting, or let's all go to the beach and do something or whatever. I think
I'll nix that out of my schedule. I'll nix that out of my schedule in order for me to do more work or to grind more.
Yeah, as will I.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I realize that only ends up detracting. Honestly, because what we're seeing right now is it's like, man, like I said, I had that day last week where I was just like, fuck, I have to lay down. And I slept from fucking 5 o'clock until 6 a.m. the next morning. You know what I'm saying?
Exhaustion.
I just wore myself out, man. Yeah. And one of the big things that I'm learning in life now too is again, we talk about balance. And it's easy to start pulling those things off the scale and saying like, oh, I need this. I need to remove this because I need to do X. But the universe has this crazy way of like slapping you on the pee-pee and being like, oh, you think you need to remove that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what, Mr. fucking egomaniac or Mr. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you got to relearn your lesson again. And you're going to relearn it by X failing or by you getting so exhausted that you're losing your mind. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So it's like today, for instance, you know, I kind of had to relearn this lesson because one of the things that I omitted from my schedule was going to acupuncture at least once a week or bi-weekly.
Mm-hmm.
I got rid of that. And I was just like, dude, God, just driving out to Oceanside and sitting in traffic and giving myself an hour to just kind of sit there and relax. That's just too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just too much. It's just too painful for me to do that. And it's like that voice that we're talking about too is like, no, like you can remove that one. You're going to be okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But then after like 4 weeks of doing it over and over, it's just like, So I realized that with fun, I've been doing that a lot lately too. Because what was fun to me before, some of my patterns, what was fun to me was going out with Mike and getting food.
Mm-hmm.
You know, going out and eating Fat Boy treats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'd get my dopamine response and my nice little hug from that.
Yeah.
And I've omitted that. So now I don't have fun in certain areas. And I got to bring that back. I got to figure out good, healthy ways where it doesn't deteriorate, but is also able to like kind of unwind that. Yeah, and unwind that spring. So it's like today. Normally, like my mindset is, man, I have to be hurt and sore before I go get a massage. But I've realized, no, dude, like you have to get a massage at least, and I don't have the money really for it to get more than that, but at least once a month.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get a massage once a month because my body really feels and wears and holds the stress. And then I had a fucking really hard roll on Friday night too. I got armbarred like a motherfucker from this black belt, dude. It was awesome. It was awesome. Like I got my ass hammered, but I was doing so well against him, and I just made a fucking blue belt mistake of leaving my arm out, and he was just like, "Bah, gotcha, bitch," and like yanked it. But I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like that really honed in on what I needed. But yeah, man, like I'm asking a question now.
Mm-hmm.
What areas, like what do you do for fun, and how do you schedule it in there? One thing we talked about already was archery. Like we definitely need to. Like I know I need to get that in there. I know that
absolutely.
I need to get that in there.
No,
too.
archery's fun. You know, I definitely need to get back to shooting firearms more.
Mm-hmm.
I think
You know that's expensive,
it is expensive. That's
but it
and
feels
that's-
super good. Though.
Yeah,
At least
absolutely.
once a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember the last time. I mean, well, I can, but it's been too long since all the boys got together and did something.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, but you know, and by the boys, I just mean, I mean, we have five, six, like really close guys, right, that we just hang out with on a normal basis, right? Yeah, and we just all gotten really busy. We've all gotten really grindy,
right?
You know, just like in grindy, like, hey, we all work fucking hard because we all have really high goals and aspirations.
Right.
It's not a bad thing, but I think that a lesson that I know I can take, you know, from this, and you know, I know Eddie will be all because like, hey, I think it's important for us at least, you know, once a month or more, definitely more than we've been doing. We need to go out and just do something and just and have that fun and have that scheduled.
Like we had that camping trip scheduled. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, but like we've never been able to fucking pull the trigger on it. One because
I mean, it doesn't,
other shit.
Of course, but it doesn't need to be that. But it's like it's one of those things. It's so hard scheduling when everyone's so busy.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, when I'm working and training as much as I am, and same thing with, you know, you and school and the podcast and. I mean, just everything. Like life just gets in the way, and it's hard to just line up the stars for the people that you care about most.
For sure.
And it's tough, man. So it's like you almost gotta really spend the extra effort scheduling that, because it will turn out better for you. Spend the extra effort you need to coordinate.
It's crazy to think about that,
but you need to. But I think,
it's needed.
Yeah, it's needed. Like,
it's not just
even one-on-one, but man, like get that group of whatever it is, and just get together. At a bigger setting, like doesn't. I mean, one-on-ones are great, and I prefer one-on-ones. I really do. You know, but I think it's important. But we
still have to get that
group of that handful of guys. You know, and some are going to be interchangeable, some are going to be there, some aren't, depending on schedules, of course. But we need to set something where it's like, hey, we all get together, and we all, you know, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. It doesn't need to be anything expensive. It doesn't need whatever. But we all need to just get together, and just be where we're at. together, be where our feet are.
For sure.
And live in that moment and enjoy that too, and have that fun of that man camaraderie, that brotherhood,
the brotherhood fucking heals.
Yeah.
I think so. Like,
Absolutely.
I really think it fucking just, it's primal.
Yeah.
It goes back to our fucking tribal ancestry where we're just like, we're with the boys, we're all safe, and it's okay for us to just unwind and be fucking children in a way.
Yeah.
You know, like frolic in the meadow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then tackle each other and fight a little bit.
Fucking do whatever. I mean, just be whatever that group is. I mean, we're just silly dudes. Like,
Right.
we like to grapple a lot, so if we can, we will. But we also like to shoot. We like to just talk. We'll play card game.
Yeah, that's
like,
just so fun.
No, it's fun.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
we have an absolute phenomenal time doing it, and you know, I do miss it.
Yeah.
You know, but we definitely.
It's something that's.
But it's also one of those things too that we're almost understanding to each other to a fault where it's like, yeah, dude, like, you know, like we understand that we all are busy and we have other things, and like, and you know, like you said, like, what's the first thing to go away when you have, you know, so much going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, well, I love these guys. I know it's unconditional, so if I don't see them for a little bit longer, it's gonna be okay.
Dude, one of the biggest things that I am, dude, like I just want to get out right now and I want to hunt. Like that's one thing that I'm thirsting for. Like I'm thirsting for it. I just want to be in a position where I could get like a week away, like out in the woods, like camping and going out and fucking like just being out there and hopefully bagging a fucking like nice deer or an elk.
Yeah, it's like I've never done that, but
Dude.
everyone I hear talk about it just says it's the best thing.
It's in us. Like I need it. Like I need it to happen. I could feel myself right now where I'm just like, I want it. I want that. I want that.
No, and I definitely want to learn about it because I mean I just love being outside and I just love hiking. But then you take the hunting aspect and that's a whole new realm of like fear and excitement.
Yeah, unknown.
Yeah, that I've never been, you know, that I've never experienced yet.
And it's like in a way, it's not dominating, but it's like I can survive out in this fucking in the elements, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not one of them little like city bitches.
No, I definitely feel like a city bitch. 100%.
Yeah. Dude, and I
100%.
get that way too, where I'm just
100%.
like, fuck, man, like
absolutely.
my shit's dwindling.
No, like
my
all
shit's dwindling.
like again, all because like you find occasionally don't like you still got some bitch in you. So
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
You still got like
There's one
gaps
area.
in your knowledge. You
Yeah,
got,
exactly.
I mean, something like there's something about you that you don't know a lot about, and you know part of a lot of it is fear.
This is part of creating the optimal human being too. Like you still can be a good city guy, but at the same time, like you got to be a good outdoor guy too. Like you have to have some skills associated with that. You has to.
Yeah.
It's part of life.
But it's getting crazy with technology though, man. With how everyone's just kind of staying in. Like,
Oh, for
I mean, like when I look at where it's going, man, it's scary to me because I try to, you know, like I'm not technology literate at
Right.
all. Like
Yeah.
I don't even have a laptop. You know, I just have my phone, really, and I know how to work the computer well enough at work to do what I do.
Right.
Well, as I don't have it.
Right.
But man, like these, I mean, I don't play video games anymore. Obviously, being
Right.
a husband, but it's like seeing video games come out and seeing everything. Like, man, like how like into that are we going to consume ourselves if we realize like
I think people are going to lose it. I think people are going to lose themselves completely into it, and I think
I've seen I there's someone that like it's like I know who's like literally like lost to it. Like they're very much consumed by it.
Right.
Like they come out.
They don't recognize the world outside of it.
They come out.
That
for
is their reality.
As minimum as possible.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Minimum as possible.
Right.
They would rather be in that, in a computer, living in a virtual world,
Right.
more than anything.
It's easier. It's easier to do that. It's comfortable.
No, for sure. And what's crazy to me
The
is
outside world is scary and it's dark and it's gonna beat you up.
yeah,
This is comfortable.
it's
And I'm good. I'm good at it.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
But what is the long term consequence of that? I mean, as far as like, I mean, your relationships with the actual people,
Right.
and like interact. Like
I don't think you become I don't think you become a human being. I think it is altering people into something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I honestly do. I think it sucks.
Like how much do you get to know
much?
but at the same time too, is like how much do you work on yourself, like
Right.
who you really are.
Right.
You're creating this, you know, character in this virtual reality or whatever you're doing with it, and you're living that life.
Right.
But then at whatever time you just like you lift your hand off, you know, the mouse and where are you at?
Right.
Where you're at in your mind, where you're at in your body, where you're at in your pursuit of your life. Did you go anywhere
Nah.
in that time?
Dude, and it's all addiction. Like, that is
Yeah.
a straight addiction. Like, it's so much stimulus. It's firing neuro.
It's hard. Like, it's. I mean, and I know I'm a little bit more extreme with it, but it's hard for me to watch. You know, like have like movie marathons because all I do is think about. It's like, okay, yeah, I enjoy this movie because it's a good relaxation time. But it's like I can't do that all the time.
Right.
I can't because I've seen what it's like to
dude,
be like that and accomplish nothing and then do the opposite.
It's 3 o'clock on Sunday right now, and we're not watching football. We're instead doing this podcast that's helping to benefit other people.
Yeah, but I've gotten to that point where I grew up watching a lot. I played football. I played football in high school and even a year in college. I love football.
Right.
But
what's it sitting here for fucking 10 hours a day watching some other people play a sport? What's it really doing to benefit you?
I just don't. I mean, I guess it's entertaining for a little bit. I know people get into it like for fantasy, but I don't do fantasy or anything like that. I have nothing invested in any sort of manner.
Yeah.
In it,
dude. I'm
we're doing this podcast, and I know what I'm getting out of this. You know, there's a million things I'm getting out of this.
Absolutely.
But if I wasn't doing this, what else would I be? Well, I'll be spending my time, probably with my wife and son. It's a Sunday, and get something out of that. Or maybe I'd be at jiu-jitsu, getting an extra roll and making up for that.
Right.
Or it's like, hey, maybe
the
wife's out doing something. I'm at home alone.
Yeah. Cleaning my house.
Oh yeah, let's get set for the week. Let's try to read.
Right.
Let's get some reading in because that's really important. I don't get anything out of. I mean, I love watching fighting because it's my career. I'm watching it like a scientist a lot. Like, I love watching the fights last night, just breaking it down and seeing those things, and seeing when guys have great nights and off nights, all that shit. Get something out of it. But man, if you're not, it doesn't need to be like that all the time. But in my opinion, it does need to be like that most of the time.
Right.
You need to be doing something that's going to progress you somewhere.
You can give yourself treats. Sometimes.
Earned.
Yes, earned.
Legitimately
earned. And it's crazy too because like when you give yourself that treat, you're sitting there for 45 minutes watching a movie and you're like, I'm good. Like I feel good now. Like that was a nice treat. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna maybe I'll leave it on in the background, but you know what I'm gonna do? Like I'm gonna clean up my room. I'm gonna make it so that things are a little bit more efficient. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna make my lunch for tomorrow. I don't know. For me that's how I am. When I give myself these treats, like I don't need as much of it anymore as I used to need it when I was giving myself into that a lot more. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy.
It's like, hey, if you what really has helped me is I do this. I did this first writing it, but it's more efficient for me to do it on my phone now. I pull out my phone. I go in the notes app.
Mm-hmm.
I write down the date. I put in a Bible verse. I put in a motivational quote, and then I write down what I need to write down like what tasks I need to do today. Okay. I just break it down. Like, what do I need to do? I need to roll. I need to stretch. I need to do my practices, my training. I have clients mostly I'm doing that day. I have some management work. I'll put whatever I need to down there for the list. If I need to floss, floss, dude. Like put it down there. If it's a weakness, you put it on there.
Yeah.
And man, people talk about getting endorphins, when you see people like your stuff on social media or comment, whatever, like legitimately getting getting something out of that.
Yeah.
Man, I get the same thing out of just putting a checkbox next to that I accomplished that thing and looking at that list and knowing that I checked that box.
You're not abnormal. When you do it, someone out there listening right now, they get the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That is a man thing. And I'd even say, it could be woman. I don't know. I don't know the mind of a woman. But men like to accomplish. That's one thing I do know. And that's why I harp on this now with people. There was a Navy SEAL commander that had a speech just recently, but I was saying it, along the lines before I heard that.
Mm.
When I get up, the first thing I do is I make my bed. Because now I have something accomplished that day. And it is set in motion, this momentum of me accomplishing other tasks.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And it also gives me an excuse not to get back into this bed that I just made.
Yeah.
Right? So it does something like what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. I'm sure that's one of the things I do in the military, right? What did you have to do in boot camp? Did you have to get up and make your bed? What was the first thing you did in boot camp?
I'm pretty sure.
Right?
I'm pretty sure we had to make our bed.
You have a lot of connection with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get the chance to make my bed first thing in the morning because I probably have a kid or a wife in there.
Yeah.
So I can't make the bed.
For sure.
But if that's your thing, though, if you have some sort of connection with it, whatever that connection is,
yeah,
it doesn't matter what it is. Do that. And I'm assuming it will lead to other things.
Absolutely.
Start small if you need to.
Wake up and accomplish something.
Just do it.
I remember when I was the most depressed. That's the first thing I started doing. But then the next hardest thing for me was to go and take a shower. I would shower. I would end up showering like later in the day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, there's something about getting in that shower, like right after getting up, where I was just like, deep down, like, I didn't want to because I felt like it was gonna hurt. You know, it was not hurt in a way of like, ow, the shower's gonna hurt me, but like, it's uncomfortable. I'm going to have to get uncomfortable, and all I want right now is to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's like, shit. I just thought of something back to where we were at earlier, and I wanted to pull it back, but I lost it.
It's all right.
Anyway.
No, but yeah, I've definitely listened to that speech that you're referring to many times, and you know, sometimes like if you're really having a hard time like getting that momentum, getting it started, start with something simple,
small.
Like,
Small battles.
Yeah,
you can't fucking win a war just by winning one gigantic battle. You've got to start with the small fucking battles, man. You have to start there. That's, like I said, dude, it's the fucking, how does a snowball start rolling down a hill? One molecule of fucking water, of frozen water, clings to other fucking molecules. And then it turns into a pea size. That turns into a, you know what I'm saying? Like, start your momentum. And I think a lot of people, especially people that we're talking to right now, they fail to set themselves up for that, to move into fucking kinetic energy, right? Kinetic, yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's two forms of energy.
Static and kinetic.
Yeah, right. So kinetic, yeah, turning into kinetic energy. People fail to do so. They fail to set themselves up to get that momentum going. They think of the arduous path ahead, and they're like, man, I'm never going to be able to get there. But it starts off with like, dude, right now with this podcast, I'm now shooting a podcast on my fucking iPhone, right? But first what it took was for me to get a microphone, right? Mm-hmm. And just get out there and start. Because before for me, it was like, oh, dude, I need a soundproof room. I need a room all to myself. I need this perfect fucking whatever. I need to have all this topic. I need to be out in the spotlight amongst all these other people to drag all these people in. But it was like, dude, no, you know what? Like, I was always waiting for that moment to happen. And the more I waited, like what we were talking about earlier, the more I'd get buried with fucking other bullshit. And it's like, dude, you're never going to start. Yeah. You're never going to start. So what do you got to do? No, fucking start now. Just start with something small, with something basic, and soon enough that fucking little molecule of fucking frozen water is going to turn into something big, dude.
Absolutely. And I think people want to like give themselves like the out of like, you know, you're just like this.
Yeah.
I'm just like this.
Yeah.
No, I think we're all more similar than we give ourselves credit to.
I agree.
And it's just people have gotten those really like super motivated people, those superstars that you hear about how much time they put in, there's like all this dedication, discipline that they have. Mm-hmm. They still fight themselves all the time,
right?
All the time, but you need to know how to direct your mind. You have to direct it. It does not like motivation's a liar. Like I'm not super pumped to train all the time.
Right.
I'm not, like, was I more pumped when I was like just learning when I was 19 years old in college?
Right, for sure.
Yeah, I was. But now I've been doing this for 8-9 years. And it's not as consistent, but I still work. I actually train more than I ever did back then because it's just how I've developed. Mm-hmm. Direct your mind into doing what you know makes you great.
For sure.
Not what just makes you feel good. Direct your mind to get the things done, do the things you do, live the life you want to live that makes you feel great. And that's different for every single person. Whatever you define success is, right? Whatever you need to define your success. Don't look at anyone else. Literally no one else. For what success is, because it's all different. If you you love the 9-to-5 grind of this very safe, like whatever, just love that and then don't complain,
right?
Because this is the life you chose,
for sure.
Like you've committed to this, and you have to take ownership of exactly where you are, because you are where you are.
There's the other thing though too is like if you don't like it though, then fucking change it.
You gotta do something. You gotta recognize where
you're having these discomforts in your life where you're not connected, where you're not passionate, and be like, hey, I'm fucking out.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know what?
But most people are fucking scared to step off that precipice.
Absolutely. No, because it's completely unfamiliar territory. But I'm telling you, if it's what you're passionate about, you have an emotional connection to it, like you love it. Even when you're going through the shit, it's like when I first moved out here, and I was like living on this couch, I didn't have transportation or anything like that. I was in the lowest point of my life. I felt better about it than where I was before, being all safe but doing things I didn't necessarily like, or being where I didn't want to be. Because I was where I wanted to be, on the path, not 100% doing, because I still had to work shitty jobs and everything to make this MMA career happen and do what it, be what it is today. I still felt good and authentic and motivated because I knew I was going towards it, and then all other shit I had to do was only for a limited time, and it was because I believed in it. And I was like, only I will do what I have to do to make the living, to survive, until I can make what my passion and what I really want to do most of my life, and that's what I've been able to do through that. And I still have, and it keeps on just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it never stops. Life isn't this.
Right.
There is no, you reach top of the mountain, all right, you're there,
No.
you're done, you're chill.
Dude, I call it the unconquerable mountain. Like, I want to keep just climbing.
I like climbing, but my thing is like, I like the swimming metaphor for me. I suck at swimming, so swimming's hard.
Yeah.
I like swimming, but it's like you swim to a flotation of some sort, whether it's maybe you even swim to a great island.
Yeah.
And you get to relax, and you get to breathe, and you get to drink, and you get to party, whatever. But guess what?
You see another island over there?
No. Well, the thing is, for me, it's like that island's always going to be sinking, and you got to go and move on to the next.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's pretty good.
Sinking.
Uh-huh.
You only have a limited time on here before there's just nothing left of it. You're going to drain it.
Right.
You have to take that next step and that
For
next
sure.
leap, and maybe you guys swim a little bit farther this time, and it's going to be even more exhausting. But man, when you get to that next one, it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. But you have to keep on swimming, man. Otherwise,
For sure.
Otherwise, you're just gonna drown.
Right.
And
For sure.
And then you're just gonna get too far back where you can't. There's no way you can swim back up. You'll suffocate yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Fuck, man.
I like it.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, this was awesome, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you having me. I really touched on a lot of things. Like, you really helped me touch on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Internally about, not just my fight, but, just getting back to something that I know there's something that I definitely got to implement archery.
Yeah.
We definitely, like, the boys got to get together. It doesn't need to be crazy, but it needs to be regular. It needs to be planned.
Absolutely.
It needs to be scheduled.
We need to go over someone's house. We don't have to go camping.
Yeah.
We don't have to put
doesn't mean we stop the grind. We still grind.
Right.
But, I think that one thing about people who grind a lot, too, is you still got to give yourself a little bit here and there to keep that fun going.
Right, for sure. I
I
haven't been able to play around with my buddies.
Yeah.
And just joke around and cut loose.
Just be dudes.
Yeah,
be
for sure.
bros. Just
Oh,
hang
yeah,
out.
dude.
And if you can combine it, combine it, man.
Yeah.
If we all go shoot, let's all go shoot, because I love shooting with you guys.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. Or if we just go back to the campsite, or even just like go to the beach and just fucking whatever. Or just coming to open mats. Even open mat was fun.
No, that was sick.
Dude, you're a beast.
You're
a beast. I was not looking forward to that. I was not looking forward to that role because I knew. You're so explosive and strong that I'm like, I'm just gonna sit.
Yeah.
and
this is my safe space.
It was hard. Like, you're getting good, man.
Thanks, dude.
It's fun. It's fun seeing you get as good as you're getting.
Yeah.
Eddie's getting better too. Alex, I'm so scared to roll with Alex Bus right now. Like,
I keep hearing rumors that this dude's getting gnarly.
I know.
I'm feeling like I might have to take him on a little bit.
I know. You know what? The worst thing. Man, you guys are getting so good, but I will punch you in the face.
I'll tell you what, man.
I'll go dirty.
I'm really missing that aspect too of my training. Like, I really want to get.
Come up on Saturdays. Come up to the beach. You need to come up and train. We'll do it.
I want to.
Oh, but you have a lot going on Saturday.
I got a lot going on.
Yeah.
But like we just talked about, like, hey man, like, I think it'd be good for me
Every
to get
now
up.
and then.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I want to make it a dedicated part of my week.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, I'm hoping once I get to a more elevated station in life, as far as, the dollars, and I have a little bit less on my plate as far as, like, time, what's it called? I know it's missing from my life. I can feel it inside me where I'm like, dude, I want to get my striking back in and tie it into my jiu-jitsu somehow,
Yeah.
and feel a little bit more well-rounded.
Absolutely. That's why I want to get my shooting back in because I feel unbalanced.
That's where I feel too
we
for sure.
We need to do it too because we're both the answers to that fucking problem.
Absolutely.
So we'll make it happen.
Yeah,
sure.
shit, dude. Well, good fucking. Thanks for bringing it today, dude. You brought it.
No, good chat, man.
You brought
I
it.
really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, dude.
We'll definitely do this again on this podcast for sure. But hey, man, from someone who saw you from where you're at to where you're at now, dude. I love you. Proud of you.
Too, man.
Dude, just keep on, dude. I really appreciate our friendship and everything. I think it's great what you're doing here for these guys and what you like the gift that you have that you're looking to share with everyone. I think that's the biggest thing in life too. Like whatever gift you have and enhance
you
it
gotta
and
share it.
Yeah, and share
Yeah,
it with
for
everyone
sure.
as much as possible because I'm telling you, people want to people who are authentic and genuine. They want to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you know that you're wanting to help other people. So you're doing the right thing.
Oh yeah.
Awesome, brother.
All right. Hey, let everybody know how to get a hold of you if.
For guys, Steve Kozola MMA. Okay, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'll let you. I can't announce a date yet because there's no contract signed, but a fight is coming up soon, which I'm super excited about. And I gotta get this win back and come back strong. And then for my guest for you.
So if you guys want to find me, you can find me Corey Capella on Facebook. Facebook, The War Within for the page, or The War Within podcast rather, and you'll be able to find me on YouTube as The War Within, one word, for a video log. Unfortunately, today's video is only going to be on the Facebook page because I'm technically retarded, so this is all it's going to be on.
We're going to bounce back into this.
We're going to get back. It's no big deal.
Don't worry about it. We're going to bounce
back. But anyway, hell yeah, Steve.
All right, brother.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody, take care.
Grab mine.